Today, it's the 3rd of June 2024. The first former U.S. president in history to be charged with a crime was criminally convicted last Thursday by a Manhattan, New York jury. I'm Sarah Obal. Welcome to The Pulse.
And I'm Sam Buban. Welcome to this week's edition of The Pulse. After 7 weeks of trial in the felony falsification of business records by Donald Trump relating to the hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, the jury found the former president guilty on 34 counts in a unanimous jury. The 12 Manhattan New Yorkers who sat on the jury that received 55 pages of jury instructions of what constitute a guilty or not guilty based solely on evidence and proper inferences had all found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 counts. As the jury foreman stated count after count the word guilty. As Donald Trump and his supporters were disagreeing with the legal process and disagree with the jury, some calling the entire process a kangaroo court, judging by the many news media outlets that came to New York for the trial, the world was watching. The reality that Donald Trump is the first former president to be criminally charged speaks for itself that he is the first former president to have committed a crime that was proven in the court of law. And this president has many other criminal prosecutions he is still facing in other jurisdictions like in D.C., Georgia, and Florida. Donald Trump was convicted of the crime of falsifying business records in furtherance of another crime, which is election interference in the 2016 presidential election. That the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels was to kill a story from coming out on a Stormy Daniels' sexual encounter with Trump while married to Melania Trump, who just had a baby. He was not charged with election interference in violation of federal campaign finance violation, but the intent of the falsification of business records stemmed from the intent to have the chance of getting elected president in 2016, and because money was involved, the means was for the purpose of furtherance of a crime. It took 7 male and 5 female jurors 12.5 hours of deliberation. Last week, after the verdict of guilty was pronounced, Donald Trump again publicly denounced Judge Juan Marchand, who oversaw the case, as a corrupt judge, while President Biden said in a national address on Friday last week, described how our legal system works in the United States and the same legal system that protects and gives Trump his right to appeal his case, and that the sanctity of our justice system has to be embraced and protected, said the president. The Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, who prosecuted the case, thanked the jurors for their personal sacrifices during the entire trial and the courage to stay in the jury box day after day, and eventually came up with a verdict based on evidence presented in court. Judge Juan Marchand scheduled the sentencing day to July 11, 2024, after which the legal defense team of Trump can file an appeal in the New York Court of Appeals, who may either uphold or deny the defendant's challenges.
Every 2 years, there is U.S. senators in the ballot. It's because there are senior senators who serve for 6 years and junior senators who serve for 4 years. Every 2 years in a presidential election year, or in a midterm of presidency, election for U.S. Senate happens. Of the 100 members of the U.S. Senate, 2 for each state in the Union, there are 33 senators whose seat will expire in 2024. All the 33 senators, 20 which are Democrats, 10 which are Republicans, and 3 who were independent, who caucuses with Democrats. In the state of Nevada, U.S. Senator Jacki Rosen, who is the state's senior senator, is up for re-election, and the campaign is already on full swing. And Nevada is among those identified by political observers as the battleground state for the U.S. Senate election, that could determine as to which party will control the U.S. Senate in the next Congress, which is the 119th Congress. Here, Senator Rosen and one of her campaign stop at the Kamayan event attended by Philam voters.
Ready? 1, 2, everybody! 3, 4! Take your turn. Come on. Now, come on. There. One-handed. Whoa! Okay. Now, Senator Rosen. There you go. We go back. Start in the middle. Sorry. Yeah. Hey! All right.
Here are some of the 2024 Senate battleground states, besides Nevada, where Democrats are being challenged in November general election. Georgia, where Senator Jon Ossoff is running for re-election, Jon Tester of Montana, Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, and there are many incumbent Republicans in the battleground state, like Texas, who are facing a serious challenge, like Senator Ted Cruz being challenged by Democratic Congressman Colin Allred. The U.S. Senate is presently controlled by the Democrats, with Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, while the House of Representatives is controlled by the Republicans under the leadership of Mike Johnson of Louisiana. We are going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we will be joined by the Nevada Assemblywoman Claire Thomas as our guest interviewee. Please stay with us.
Mambuhay. I am Christian Bishop, candidate for Nevada State Senate in Henderson. As a father to 3 children, family means everything to me. That's why your family means a lot to me. As a small business owner, I know what it's like to sacrifice, build, and persevere, protecting our community, investing in our future, and leading with empathy and foresight to make the right decisions for all Nevadans. In addition to being the sports, gaming, and hospitality capital of the world, let's be number 1 for healthcare and education. I'm Christian Bishop, and I approve this message. Salamat po.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now here at Philam's TV studios is Assemblywoman Claire Thomas of Las Vegas, who is running for the State Senate in the Democratic primary. Claire, welcome to The Pulse.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
It's our pleasure.
Before we go into our other questions, can you tell our viewers some background about yourself?
Oh, I'd love to. I am an Assemblywoman. I represent Assembly District 17 in beautiful North Las Vegas, and when the State Senate seat in District 1, which encompasses Assembly District 17 along with District 1, the seat became available, and I believe that I was the most qualified person to actually run and be in that seat, because it's important to represent the community, and I am well versed in the legislature, and I represent the people. The people are the ones that count.
So you're running for Nevada Senate District 1. Can you give us some ideas where Nevada Senate District 1 is?
Yes. I like landmarks, because
Yes, landmarks,
when you give streets, a lot of people get confused. I know I do, because everywhere I go I need GPS.
That's
So
true.
the landmark for Assembly District 1, which is in Senate 1, is Aliante area.
Aliante, yes.
And with Aliante, when you go south of the 215, you will actually encompass Assembly District 17, which has the 2 high schools, Legacy and Mojave. And if you've been here for a while, you know or remember the pig farm.
The pig farm, yes.
And the pig farm is Assembly District 17, along with Nellis Air Force Base, and that is just about the entire area.
Claire, I was at a community event, much like a town hall meeting, one that was organized. That was last year, early last year, and it was organized by Commissioner William McCurdy and U.S. Congressman Ro Khanna was also there. My son and I, Joe, we were there. And I do remember you spoke about a sponsored bill or supported a bill relating to addressing Las Vegas housing crisis.
Yes.
What was the end result of that effort?
That was a bill that the Culinary Union sponsored, and I had a portion of the bill, and so did Senator Spearman. And because the Culinary requested Senator Spearman to take the bill, she took the bill. My bill actually didn't go anywhere, which was the same. It was a duplicate bill.
Yeah, that was like the lower house version.
Exactly, exactly. And with that said, unfortunately, the bill did not go to the point of our house, to the lower house, to the assembly. I believe that the Senate committee did hear the bill, but I don't believe they voted on the bill. So the bill didn't go anywhere.
I see. So it's still, out there. Hopefully in the next session, it might be revived or something.
Well, I tell you, there is one bill that I am hopeful for, and this bill is AB 298. This bill actually will assist our senior and our Social Security low-income folk in Nevada.
Yes.
And that bill was vetoed by the governor this time, and we don't know. He didn't give us a reason why the bill was vetoed, why he, vetoed. I think that he regrets, because now we have seniors that are in dire need. We have seniors in just in the historic West Side that a news reported that they're eating cat food.
Oh.
We have to do something. So AB 298, I'm the sponsor. I'm hoping that the sponsor brings that bill. I will, I voted for the bill. I'll vote for the bill again.
So I also heard that you offered some good ideas about how the school system should deal with students instead of expulsion. What were you proposing?
Well, there's a bill that our late Assemblyman Tyrone Thompson, back in 2019, just before he passed away, that bill was almost unanimously passed, and it dealt with restorative justice.
Restorative justice.
Exactly. And I think that, when we make laws, we have a tendency of not funding. And then we have not a tendency of implementing.
Yes.
And that bill was not implemented, nor was it funded. So my suggestion is for us to go back and look at other states and see how they are dealing with behavioral problems in our schools. And, our state, I've said it once, I'll say it again, we are reactionary. We are reacting to incidents that are happening in other states, and therefore we'll go, okay, it happened in Florida, it happened in Virginia, therefore we can make a law here for it not to happen, and punishment is the first thing, on the rung that we grab for, and that is not correct.
Yes.
When we're telling our children at the ripe old age, when these bills, the bills that I'm referring to is AB 285 and AB 330, and these bills are punitive in nature, that when a child misbehaves to a point where it's severe, we are ready to expel that child permanently. And this is something that we have to look at. We're looking at, 8-year-old, 11-year-olds to be permanently expelled from a public education.
Yes.
We, in the society that we are living in right now, we can't afford to do that because those children will be us.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will be grown-ups. And if they're not educated, we're in the same cycle that we are in right now. And the other thing that I think we have a tendency of operating in silos. And I think that, and I say silos, one community versus another community versus
Right.
another community. And we can't do that, and I say cannot do that, and expect this city, and I look at the valley
Yes,
here.
yes.
I've been here for 42 years, and when I look at the valley growing, we are known as the entertainment capital.
Yes.
Now we have the sports capital. Why can't we be the educational capital of the world?
Good point there. Senator Pat Spearman is terming out. That's why you're running for her seat. What programs or legislation that was important to Senator Pat Spearman you would want to continue and fight for your constituents and the state of Nevada if you get elected?
Well, I believe that, without saying, that the senator focused a lot on our veterans.
Okay.
And since I am also a veteran, I will be looking to promote those issues because it's very important. We have over 200,000 veterans in the state, basically in the South here. And it really is important to, when we say on those, Memorial Day or Veterans Day, thank you for your service.
Yes.
Well, we have some homeless
Yes.
veterans. We have some mentally ill veterans. We have so many, health, I call it dementia, that veterans are experiencing. And
Okay.
we have to considerably help them because we have to thank them for their service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So unfortunately, we're almost out of time for this segment. Any last words from you?
Well, I would love to say thank you so much for this opportunity and know that I believe that the legislature belongs to the people, and I'm running on that platform.
Yes.
Give the legislature back to the people because it's very important for us to center ourselves and look at the entire picture of the state of Nevada. It's very important for us to look at the people that elect us, put us in office, because they're the ones that need our voice to be, that advocate. And, we can think of all kind of things to make into law, but we
Right.
need the people to tell us what they want. And they want a good school district. They're tired of being 50th in the nation.
Yes.
They want health care. They're tired of being, last in the nation. They want women's reproductive rights. There are so many things that I've heard on this campaign trail that the people in my districts want.
Assemblywoman Claire Thomas running for Senate District 1. Thank you for talking to us today here at the Pulse. Good luck on your race.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. When we come back after the commercial break, stick around for an interview with Leonard Lither, who is running for the Board of Clark County School District, District E. Stick around.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now here at Film TV Studios is Leonard Leither, who is running for a seat in Clark County School District Board, District E. Leonard, welcome to The Pulse.
Thank you. Nice to be here. So I'm running for School Board District E, which is largely in the Summerlin area. A little bit north, a little bit east of Summerlin. Pretty big district, actually.
Okay. And there's a part, the Southwest is one of the fastest growing community the past 4 years. And,
Would you please tell our viewers some background about yourself before we go into other questions?
Of course. Well, first of all, I've been a teacher for the last 19 years in 3 different countries, including South Korea, China, and now here in America.
Wow.
I've been a licensed teacher here in CCSD for the last 7. I have 2 children, both in middle school. One goes for Tita, one goes to Walter Johnson. As a parent, I've seen the struggles that parents have to face. For many years, my wife would not visit our child's school because she felt that alienated. And as a teacher, I see kind of both sides, what the parents are dealing with, what the teachers. So,
Leonard, are you challenging an incumbent, or is this an open seat?
This is an open seat. The last incumbent, Lola Brooks, she's not running again.
I see. And what issue or issues are important to you that you want to represent your district in the CCSD board?
You know, that's a hard question in a way, because there are so many important policies, because I've seen it again from both sides.
Okay.
I believe, first of all, graduation rates have to increase. So like 82%, it's terrible. School behavior. People are often talking about the behavior of students, restorative justice, pros and cons. And there needs to be consequences to students' actions. And I've seen that happen too often where kids don't receive that. So then by the time they get to middle school, that behavior is locked in. So there needs to be that, but there also needs to be social workers and people to provide that background services. So it's a complicated issue. One thing I'd also like to do is increase foreign language in middle school. So, you know, if you take foreign language in middle school, that actually gives you high school credits.
Yes.
My oldest son just finished Chinese level 2 in middle school, and so when he's starting high school, he'll actually start with 6 high school credits.
Fantastic.
It's an important issue, I think.
So what important decisions about our schools is the board empowered to do?
A lot of them, because you know, they obviously create policies. I feel like they create a lot of policies, but they don't always make sure those policies are actually being implemented. So that's one of the big difficulties. They also hire and evaluate the superintendent, which is obviously very important. Part of the problem was last time I feel like they hired a superintendent, they did a really bad job of supervising that superintendent. Plus, they gave a lot of additional authority to that person. And it's their job to make sure that these policies that they create are actually being implemented. And if they're not, to question why. And they never seem to answer any of those questions.
Okay, I know you had just, the CCSD is currently on a hunt for a new superintendent after Mr. Jara was terminated or left the CCSD. As a classroom teacher, Leonard, what things are you very passionate about that needed to be done by the board if you are elected to that position?
So I believe there's a couple bigger issues. I feel one of them is obviously behavior, but another one is diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes.
And a good example of this is both my children are half Chinese, and my youngest son was in the choir last year at his elementary school. And I love the elementary school, and I do believe they did a good job. But during February, they had a choir event where parents came and watched the kids, and they connected it to Black History Month, which they should have. And it was a great event. Unfortunately, a couple months later, Asian American Pacific Islander Month, and again, they could have done something, but they connected it only to Cinco de Mayo. Now, I understand we have a lot of Latinos, a lot of people from that descent, but they could have done at least 1 or 2 songs or something. So diversity, equity needs to be to all, and including equity. I know recently the governor did not fund the free lunch program, and I do believe that's quite strongly that's something we need to continue, because when you see a hungry child in your classroom, it just breaks your heart. Behavior is also a huge thing. I've seen kids throw chairs and we evacuate the classroom. Last year, I saw a kid pick up a 20-pound rock and try to attack another child. So behavior needs to be managed a lot better than it is, and there's actually a lot of mechanisms that the district already has in place. Unfortunately, there's little to no training, policies being followed through, and it just needs to come together. And some people might say that it's not because of funding, and honestly, most of what needs to be fixed doesn't deal with the funding issue.
Yes.
So there's a lot we can do in both of those topics.
So unfortunately, we're almost at the end of our segment for today. Is there anything you would like to say to your voters?
You know, first I'd like to say I'm actually the only working teacher in the district that's actually running. And a lot of voters may not be aware that if I'm elected, I will have to step down from my job. And my focus is to actually spend a pretty good amount of time just being a trustee, to research who you're voting for. Because if they actually look at the other candidates, I believe they would actually choose me. And if they don't, at least they'll be an informed voter.
Okay, sounds good. Leonard Leiter for Clark County School Board District E, thank you for making the time to talk to us today.
Thank you for having me.
Join us again next week here at The Pulse. I'm Sarah Obal. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Sam Buban. God bless your week.